Hey, what up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you with the Night of Champions 2009 review. Watch this one on the WWE Network. Honestly, had a lot of fun watching this show. I think I really like the Night of Champions sort of gimmick before they changed it. It used to be, when they would have these pay-per-views, every pay-per-view under the Night of Champions build would have a championship match in every match. Now it's these days, you get championship matches, but then you also get some filler matches along the way that aren't for titles, and they also exclude some titles from being on the show. But if you're a champion, the day this pay-per-view comes out, you know you're going to get one match on this show. Basically, like the upcoming pay-per-view, you got Brock versus Cena, and then you're probably going to get the Bellas versus Bellas match and some other shit like that. But just straight up championship matches, beginning to end. I didn't realize how fun these shows were, but this one is another one that I highly recommend you go check this out. The show kicks off. Chris Jericho comes out to the ring. He's going to have a match against Legacy. This was right after Edge tore his Achilles tendon, and basically he had to take a lot of time off. He wouldn't make a comeback until the Royal Rumble of 2010, winning that, of course, going to WrestleMania against Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 26. They were already sort of putting the building blocks in place for this to happen, with Chris Jericho running down Edge, saying that he had abandoned him as a partner and just saying that he was the weakest link at that team, and basically, the tag team is going to go on from there. He found a loophole in the contract that was able for him to go out and find a new partner in order to take his place, and he replaced Edge with the Big Show, one of the most biggest, fiercest men on the roster, as he said, and they went out and they had a match against Legacy. I thought, debuting them as the new tag team champions, they would just come out and they would run over Legacy, but this was actually a really good match. Always liked Cody and Ted DiBiase as a team. It's just too bad that neither one of these guys have really, gone off. Ted DiBiase is, of course, away from wrestling now. Cody Rhodes stuck in the Stardust gimmick. There's so many times that they've sort of started and stopped him so many times. Every time you're like, oh, this is when they're going to give him the push. We haven't seen it yet, but Chris Jericho and Big Show win this match to keep the tag team championships, and they go on from there. Then we go to the ECW championship match. Christian beats Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer had a good little run as the ECW champion for 2 months. They built up that big angle with him, basically saying that his contract expired the night of Extreme Rules, and if he didn't win the championship, he was going to walk away from wrestling, and that would be his last day in the sun. Surprise, surprise, he won. He kept it for 2 months. Christian beats him at this show. Christian seems to make a big deal about being a 2-time ECW champion. I think by this point, we all knew what the ECW championship was. And we were all sort of really surprised how much Christian really liked being ECW champion. But he beats Tommy Dreamer here. From there, we go to the 6-pack challenge for the United States Championship. This was an awesome match. I went and I looked at a few reviews about how other people thought about this show, and a lot of people talk big claims about the Intercontinental Championship match and the World Heavyweight Championship match being the match of the night, but I really enjoyed this. Kofi Kingston comes in. He's the he's the United States champion coming into this, and in this match with him is MVP, The Miz, Carlito, Jack Swagger, and Primo. Primo and Carlito had just broken up as a tag team. The Miz was chasing around Maurice around this time. Jack Swagger was fresh off his ECW championship runs, and he was a new addition of Monday Night Raw. And MVP was the guy that everybody thought was destined for greatness. Kofi was the guy that at this time was a fresh face. I think that they were saying he had just recently debuted in the company at this time, if I have that right. But really cool. We see MVP going to put his finisher on, I think he was going to hit it on Kofi, and the Miz sneaks up, and it's like a double finisher at the time, since both of them are sort of front-facing moves. I thought that was pretty cool. We get to see Carlito gain Primo's trust back, only to hit the backstabber on him from there. But Kofi pulls this one out, and Kofi gets the win. But this was a really, really fun match. 6 guys all in the ring all at one time, and non-stop action throughout this one. Michelle McCool beats Melina in a women's championship match. I watched this over the course of 2 nights. I sort of had forgotten how much I had seen the night before, and I came home tonight and I restarted up the show. I went to the triple threat match for the WWE Championship: Randy Orton, John Cena, and Triple H. This was the match that was basically set up. Basically, they had a number one contendership match on Monday Night Raw. It was John Cena versus Triple H to see who was going to go on to fight Randy Orton at the pay-per-view. Legacy ran down, and they planned their attack to where basically they were going to hit both guys at the same time with the run-in, making this a double disqualification, seeing how that would make where Randy Orton didn't have to face either one of them. The $1 Million Man, who was the Raw guest host for this night, said that, basically he didn't see either one had won the match, but at the same time, he didn't see it either man had lost the match. So he made this a triple threat match where Randy was going to go out and defend his championship against John Cena and Triple H. This was the match that Randy Orton really didn't want anything to do with. All three guys got in the ring. Randy Orton sort of chickened out and ducked out. Triple H and John Cena looked at each other, sort of like, they were going to do what Randy wanted to do, and basically just start fighting. But they sort of looked at each other and they bailed out, and they went and they attacked Orton. They made sure Orton wanted to fight in this one. A good moment where I really thought that John Cena was going to win this. They saw him really going after Triple H, putting the STFU on him, trying to get him to tap out. Legacy, they did the cool spot where basically, I think it was Triple H had Orton in the sharpshooter, and at the same time, John Cena had the STFU on Randy Orton. Orton was tapping out, but the referee didn't know who to name as the winner, and he wanted to find a decisive winner, so he sort of let the match go on. From there, Legacy ran down and did a run-in. Referee sort of let that go, because at the same point, he didn't want to see Randy Orton escape out of this with a disqualification victory, but Randy Orton was able to hit the RKO. I'm pretty sure he hit it on Cena, and this was a really, really good match. Whole bunch of guys in there, but basically Orton walked out with the championship, and I really thought that was it. I thought that, man, you can't top that. That was probably the main event. I thought that maybe I had let the night go before the night before and watched more of the show than I thought I did. And as I'm about to turn the show off, thinking about how good the show was and thinking about how the review's going to go, basically Mickie James came out. I was like, whoa, we still got more wrestling here, folks. Mickie James fought against Maurice. Mickie James beat Maurice after Maurice tried to cheat with the hairspray gimmick. Mickie James to keep the championship. And there we go to Rey Mysterio versus Dolph Ziggler. This was a really, really good match. Rey beat Ziggler. Ziggler was a really good wrestler from day one. And I honestly, sometimes I'll watch matches of his from like 2008, 2009, and forget how long he's been in WWE, how long he's been around. I remember the Rey Mysterio versus Dolph Ziggler match that I watched from SummerSlam 2009 last month when I was reviewing that show. I was really surprised how great that opener was for that show, and this was another one that stood right there with it. Honestly, I was a little bit mixed up because Maria came out and joined Dolph Ziggler on the way down to the ring. I honestly don't ever remember Maria being with Dolph Ziggler. If anybody out there can bring memory to how this sort of matchup came and anything that would have come out of it that I would have remembered, please let me know, because it's something that I'm probably going to be thinking about for the next 2 to 3 days. Jeff Hardy versus CM Punk was your main event here. Of course, the stories were out that basically Jeff Hardy was going to be leaving because of some trouble, I believe, in his family life, and a lot of people thought that this was the slam dunk that Punk was going to beat Hardy in this match. The way this match all planned out was that basically Punk was fighting with Hardy, but basically Punk couldn't beat him. We saw him hit the go to sleep. Jeff Hardy kicked out. There was at one point when CM Punk just sort of grabbed the title and just walked out. And then as the count got higher and higher, Jeff Hardy said, "Fuck this." Had to run out and get Punk, throw him back in the ring. Was able to hit the finisher, and he was able to get the victory. I found this as sort of a surprise because of the story that was going around, and then also when the referee trying to hand the title to Hardy. Hardy sort of looked at it like it was, he just couldn't believe it that he was the champion. And it took him a good 30 seconds before he grabbed the belt from the ref and started celebrating with everybody. But this was a start that would lead up to SummerSlam, the TLC match from 2009. An awesome feud from these guys. Probably one of the best feuds of 2009. Definitely make sure you check out this show. I highly recommend it on your countdown to Night of Champions this year with John Cena going up against Brock Lesnar. It's going to be a fun one. WWE Network, that's how I watched it. Only $9.99 a month.